Welcome, Scorpio. I'm so pleased to see that in your horoscope here, the seventh house or the relationship part of your horoscope is so nicely activated with Mercury, Uranus, and the Sun. That's a reconnection with your core strengths in relationships, personal relationships, and business relationships. You see here also when the moon moves into the sign of Virgo, fulfilling your dreams, at least temporarily. These may be little goals you've set yourself. A nice trine aspect to all three planets here in the seventh house. We're going to keep our eye on your ruler, or at least the co-ruler of your sun sign Scorpio here with Mars. Watch that. That's going to move from this fourth house, which has been dominating your internal and also domestic landscape. A little bit of frustration, but I think for the most part, you're handling this quite well. I'm interested also to point out here for this month of May 2020, the connection of the full moon to your relationships here. Here we see on the 8th, 7th and 8th, moon moving into your sun sign and then fast waxing to the full moon phase. So that again accentuates what I've just been saying there. Some surprising things can develop here. You can find some excitement again in your relationships. You've got to make that happen though. It's not something that you can sit back, rest on your laurels, because as they say, you're only as good as your last hit. So in terms of your relationship, make that a hit. Really bring the goods to the table and become proactive and initiate some stuff with the person that you love, especially if things have become a little bit stale. The finance sector here is Sagittarius for you. The moon transits this area on the 10th and 11th in the opposition to Venus, which is your relationship ruler. There may be some disagreements over money at that time. And of course, these two planets can get very, very emotional. The third house transit can transform things. Here it is, transiting between the 11th and 13th through this critical area of your horoscope, showing that you can smooth things over. And this can be a radical shift for you and your partner, shown by the favorable blue triangle lines. These are called trines. So here, moon then moves into a bit of a dull day or two with Saturn in your fourth house of domestic activities. If you've been holding up quite well with the lockdown, this could be a day or two where you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Fortunately, Mars moves out of this fourth house area around the same time, around the 14th. You see it here moving to your fifth house, really bringing back with it a stimulating creative impulse. Moon also makes its contact there and it finds its way into the midpoint of Mars and Neptune, showing a need to somehow bridge the gap or that sort of idealism you have with the practical reality of things. For some of you, it may be, what the hell? I'm going to just go and do something creative that I love and not worry too much about the money. Actually, speaking of money, we see the South Node here, which is a very strong karmic influence, having just retrogressed back. It goes in an anti-clockwise direction, as does the North Node. So karma is very, very strong in the finance sector for those of you born under Scorpio. Your shared resources, as well as your own personal exertion, your personal efforts. You must remember, though, that these nodes often indicate a need to lose something. Now, I don't say that in the typical sense of losing it, but losing it in that it's a willful loss, jettisoning something that is holding you back right now. We can see that Saturn here in the fourth house may indeed be causing you to feel a little constricted in yourself. Forget about COVID-19. I'm talking about how you feel in yourself. That's why this creative component is very, very important. And then we see the shift of all of these planets here into that transformative 8th house, the natural house of Scorpio. The new moon here on the 23rd is very, very powerful. Take a look at that. All of these planets sitting here in the 8th house. That's bringing up with it it's a challenge because you've got the right angle here between Mars and these 5 planets, showing that you've got the desire to change, but are you creatively operating in a direction that is meant for you? Are you resonant with what you're doing? Not resident, resonant You have to resonate with what it is that feels good. I always quote that saying from the Indian scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. There's one verse in that says, whereupon the mind of a man finds satisfaction, thereupon let it rest. So are you rested in what you're doing? That's the question this month. And that new moon taking place here shows you're turning over a new leaf in this whole deep subconscious area of your being. You're looking at yourself even deeper now, and that has to have some positive ramifications on your personal relationships as well. Just towards the end of the month, we have two favourable influences of the moon, although they're challenged a little. They're on the 29th, nice aspects to these planets in the 10th house of career, and then are capitalising on all of those efforts and your emotional input into what you're doing through the transit of the moon in the 11th house, which is lovely. It's still a little bit challenging here. That may just have something to do with friendships and getting back on the same page with those people that you love as well. So it's a big month for you. I hope that's helped. It's what I call the Oracle Express. But for more, wait, astrology.com.au. We've got the weekly horoscopes that I've started there. Some of you may know that, some of you may not. Take a look at that. Every week I'm doing some, just a little bit of an astrological stab to show you what's going on week by week. Dailies and yearlies are always there. And if you need to talk to me, drop me a line. We can organise a personal reading for you. And very important, subscribe. I'll see you next month, Scorpio. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.